Air travel is, in fact, how this disease crosses borders, and it's certainly how it got to Texas in the first place. Based on recent and ongoing developments, I believe it is the right policy to ban air travel from countries that have been hit hardest by the Ebola outbreak.
All right, welcome to Give Me Five, folks. That was Governor Perry, obviously, last week or so, talking about, the travel ban that he would like to see instituted, that many of us would like to see instituted. And then they talked about it and the topic on Hardball with Chris Matthews and Howard Dean. You remember that. Dean is going to get personal against Perry, and plus Dean, who's a doctor, for what it's worth, doesn't think we should have a travel ban. Watch.
The travel ban doesn't add a whole lot. However, when we know who, and Rick Perry, of course, is his usual ignoramus self. He knows nothing. And so the travel ban, first of all, there's no direct flights from West Africa from Liberia, Sierra Leone, or Guinea to the United States.
Yeah,
they got to go through Europe.
Well, we should know. From the three most affected countries, there are no direct flights.
As we say in New York, this stuff is all bupkis, this nonsense that he's just clearly interested in the politics and the press, which is going to be a little tough for him when people find out that he doesn't know anything, although they may know that already.
I mean, you turn this into a personal attack on Governor Perry because he wants a travel ban? What is wrong with this man? Well, that's a whole nother Give Me Five. But enough with the slime politics. I mean, you're there to talk about the travel ban, and just because Governor Perry wants one, you say he knows nothing. He's an ignoramus. You're Mr. Cool. All right, here's more.
I think it's fine. He's a manager. He's not a doctor. Look, the Republicans just slay me. They're so ridiculous. So they had an Ebola czar. His name is Vivek Murthy. He's President Obama's nominee for Surgeon General, which the Republicans have been stalling at the request of the National Rifle Association since February. So here are these guys. The Republicans' idea of how to practice medicine is to listen to the National Rifle Association. I discount everything they say. They know nothing. They're not interested in health. They're interested in politics. We got to manage this thing. I think Klain's a good manager.
Yeah. So Republicans, not only is Perry an ignoramus, discount everything Republicans say. They know nothing. They're not interested in health. I'm telling you, I guess maybe Dr. Dean is a brain surgeon, because he certainly sounds like one, doesn't he? That's the quality of the content. That's the content and quality of the content of his argument. He's an ignoramus. They don't know nothing. They're not interested in health. They don't listen to anything they say. Great argument, doctor. Great argument. You are a brain surgeon. Here's more.
What the CDC is doing is very smart. Ebola patients should not be taken care of in community hospitals or even major medical centers like Texas Presbyterian. They need to be taken care of in one of the few hospitals we have that really understands how to deal with this very exotic disease, which is not contagious from a distance, but it's highly contagious for caregivers. And then centers are in Omaha, in Bethesda at the NIH, at Emory with the CDC in Atlanta. And that's what they're doing, and that's the smart thing to do. So, we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, and God forbid there was ever an outbreak, extensive outbreak of Ebola in this country. We'll just send them to those two hospitals, right? Yeah, that's a smart thing. We don't need other hospitals to be prepared. Doctor. And now Chris Hayes weighs in.
The White House right now is managing two things. They're managing an actual public health issue that I think is, it's largely under control, but is scary to people and significant and unprecedented. We haven't had this in the States before. They are also simultaneously managing the political management and optics of that, as 3 weeks before an election, you have all these demands for things. This felt like them being like, okay, you guys want a czar? You want a czar? Here's a czar. And I was happy that they gave in on that as opposed to the travel ban, which I've been convinced by the experts I've listened to really is operationally a bad idea.
Yeah, it's operationally a bad idea. You have kids, Mr. Hayes? By the way, it's not hardball, obviously. You want to keep those kids safe? Think about that travel ban one more time. On the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax Television.